Now, I'm gonna show you using the same principles we used in the flag to simulate a curtain, for example, in an opened French window. And I'm gonna do something really easy here. I'm gonna create a box here, right here. Let's say it's a wall of 15 centimeters by 50 centimeters by 2.10 meters high, the opening, alright? I'm gonna convert it to polygon, select this face. I'm gonna add an extrude of 50 centimeters, alright? This one here, extrude. Let's say we got a 2 meters door, the opening. Then I'm gonna add another extrude of 50, just to make a crossbar like this. And here again, 2.10. Oops, alright, 2.10. So we got the crossbar, the opening of the window, of the French window. I'm gonna create a plane here too. That's gonna be the floor. Alright, we got the floor now. I'm gonna rename this to make it easier. Floor, walls, alright? And now, I want to create a curtain. To make a curtain, I'm gonna take it here and make it only in the middle. I'm gonna take a line, alright? And gonna draw something like this. I'm gonna kind of making it here. You can do it the way you think it's gonna be more like a curtain. Alright, I think it's enough. I'm gonna put it here in the middle. Alright, right in the middle. I don't want it touching the floor, so I'm gonna raise it 2 centimeters. I go to modifier and add an extrude. Let's say I want to make it 2.30 high, a curtain, alright? But I want it to have divisions, I don't know, 50, 60, 70, 70, alright? Then we got the curtain. I'm gonna convert to polygon and gonna name it curtain. So we got the wall, the floor, and the curtain. What do we need to do? Again, apply a cloth modifier, cloth, alright? Go to the object's properties. The curtain is going to be cloth, cotton preset. I'm gonna add the object here. Look, both objects, wall and floor. I'm gonna add them. These two, I want it to be collision objects, okay? Done. In this cloth here, I want to add self-collision. I'm gonna add number 1. So we got the cloth, the other things that are going to be in collision. And also, I'm gonna add a group. Why? Because I don't want it up here to move, so it doesn't fall. I'm gonna take the last vertices here, make a group, I'm gonna name it fixed part. And this group, I'm gonna name preserve, alright? That's what we got. Now I'm gonna create the wind. I go to forces, create a wind, put it around here. I'm gonna create a wind that is coming from outside. Here. Look, alright, a wind blowing here. And the wind setup, I'm just gonna keep this. For turbulence, 1, force 1, 2. Because it is not a windstorm to blow a flag. It is just to add a movement to the curtain. Alright, I go here and add this wind. Alright, this wind here, to the simulation. Alright. I'm just doing it quickly, because you already seen this in the other classes. I'm gonna select the cloth and gonna start simulating it, just to see what we got here. The cool thing is that it's simulating fabric, and it settles a little, and it starts to simulate. So those curves that seem to be very straight, it looks more organic now, really more like a fabric. It's even touching the floor. Look, let's see how this wind is going to blow. If it's not too windy, I think it is. So I'm gonna cancel it here. Delete the simulation. Go back to frame 0. Select the wind. I'm gonna set the force to 0.7. Alright, and as I know that's gonna be good, I think I'm gonna simulate the local for us to do the same thing as we did with the flag, for us to start the simulation from a point the curtain looks like a curtain. Let it simulate. As you see, it's much slower, because there are way more divisions, right, in this cloth. So it all makes the simulation slower. Okay, alright, it's gonna take a while. But when it's coming back, I think we can stop the local simulation and start to register the animation itself, okay? It's not coming back that fast. It is just coming back now. It is still. I'm gonna stop this local simulation here just to see what happened. Because it just moved and didn't come back. Maybe because the wind is too weak. It just blows to that side, and it's not enough to make that come back. So what I'm gonna do? I go here. When we make a local simulation, you can't go to erase simulation, because nothing happens. So just go to reset state. It's gonna get back to what it was before. I think I'm gonna create a windstorm there. I'm gonna set the force to 1.5, maybe. I'm gonna increase the turbulence. 2, alright? That's what I'm gonna do. The cloth simulation here. Let's start it over again. With a stronger force in the wind. I think now it's gonna work. I hope so. Just be careful to not make the wind too constant, otherwise the fabric is going to be like the flag. It has to be enough turbulence, so the curtain weight makes it go back. Let's see if that's happening. If it doesn't, I'm gonna change the turbulence. Look, it's going back, but it's just like before. The force is not too strong, and it almost doesn't go back, but it's going back. Look, it's moving very little. I'm gonna stop this local simulation. It's very cool. It looks like there was a wind, as it was blowing. Right, but I'm gonna do 2 things here. First, reset state. I think it is too close to the floor, and it touches it. I'm gonna move it up a little. I'm gonna make it 5 centimeters high. A bit more, 6 centimeters, to not touch the floor. Later, when it's animated, we can lower it if we want to. It's a little up, so it doesn't touch the floor. The first thing I did. The other thing, I'm gonna increase the turbulence to 5 and the wind force to 2. Let's see how that simulation is going to look now. The wind is already blowing stronger. Look, it's working much better. It's moving back, maybe because it's not touching the floor. This is simulation, alright? Do many tests. And as you practice, you will get better and better, alright? But you have to do some tests and see what looks natural and what doesn't. In this case here, for example, I can stop the local simulation. I can even increase the force here. I'm gonna set it to 7, set the force to 3, for example, and really start the simulation from here. Let's see what's gonna happen. The wind will be stronger. Well, sometimes we have a gazebo, an external pergola, and the seashore. Sometimes we put some of these curtains, like voile fabric, so it really makes this effect, like if it's flying, right? Sometimes you want to simulate something more discreet, like a curtain of an apartment. Then you really have to do some tests, with a not that strong force, to have less movement. Let's wait for it to animate here till 100. It is in the middle. And the cool thing in the fabric simulation is that once you start the simulation, it already looks more organic, as you see there. I've done many lines. I said that before, right? Very straight, and then it settled, and it got much more natural. Remember that the more divisions, the more organic the movement gets, but the simulation takes longer. It's almost finished here. Let's play it to see how it looks. Done. So it's simulated here. A curtain with the wind. What I'm gonna do now? I'm gonna convert this to keys. It says here, there's no problem. We just want to see how this simulation is going to be. Alright, I don't need the wind here anymore. And now, if you look here and play it. Look, we have the curtain, look, really moving with the wind. And to view in the correct speed, we go to Tools, grab Viewport, Preview Animation. I want to see it in the size 100%, 24 frames per second, from 0 to 100. Active time segment, that's the one we have here. I want to show this in standard, default shading or clay. I think it's gonna look nice, and I'm gonna create here, so we can really see. In the real time of the animation we have here. Done. There it is. Look, the animation. 100 frames not much. You can leave it animating longer, because it depends on the length of the scene you have. Sometimes the scene is just 100 frames, about 3 seconds, and it's alright. We got here the wind simulation. And now it's up for you to do your tests, with bigger curtains, smaller curtains, more or less divisions, more wind, less wind, because each one of you will end up having a different result from what I had here. So this is simulation. You have to simulate a few times till you get what you consider to be more realistic for what you want to simulate. Once you are sure about it, you convert it to keyframes. And this preview here, you can do before converting. Alright, you don't need to convert to preview it. I've already done it, because I knew this class was finished. So it's already transformed into key. And we got here nothing more than a mesh. It's named curtain, with all the frames registered there for you to do it. And again, you can make a few things, right? If you want to add a shell here, for example, a heavier curtain, then you want to have one here. Let's set it back to 0.1, for example. As you see, there's a thickness here. And I want to go to modifier, and I want a turbo smooth. Alright, it got very... with a lot of subdivisions, and the animation continues. As you see, it looks perfect. You can still make these adjustments to have an even more realistic modeling, according to what you want. Of course, if you add a thickness like this one, remember that with the translucent material, it's gonna calculate 2 times. So it just can be a plane when making a curtain, unless you want a heavier curtain that has a thickness. Then you can do what I'm doing here, or decrease shell. Let's set it to 0. 0.5. Then it's gonna be even thinner, with the turbo smooth too. Alright? This was the animation of a curtain with the wind, and with the fixed part of it. Let's go to the next class.